been working on, for her dissertation, she worked on improving access to organ transplant in the United States by studying organ shortage and geographic disparity in access to transplant. And right now at ENG Gallo Winery, she formulates and apply mathematical modeling and simulation techniques to solve operational problems in the business. So with this, I want to welcome Fatemeh in this session, where she will talk about her experience in job search and how should we prepare and all she knows, all her experience. So Fatemeh, welcome.
Thank you, Parag. Thank you for your introduction. Uh, I'm very happy that you invited me here. I'm looking forward to this seminar as also an opportunity for me to learn. I have just a small disclosure. Beginning is that I'm no expert here. I just graduated last year. I did some interview and I got a job, and now I'm working for not even a year. What I have here to share with you is just my personal experience I had last year, and also the experience I heard from the other people, like my friends or anyone around me that was struggling through this. So just like this is a small disclosure that what I'm going to share here is just a personal experience, and I hope it will be useful for you. Some stuff you might find them repetitive and you hear them somewhere else, but sometimes something repetitive shows how important it is to be considered in your decision in job search and career path. I already prepared something to discuss with you, few subject, but I know in the whole subject of career path and job search and everything related is so big, and there is so many things going on, and people are concerned in different aspect of it. I discuss what I have here, but after that, if you have other question or anything else, we can discuss that and we can learn from each other, hopefully. So what I prepare for now is I would like to a bit discuss about the decision between academy and industry, my own experience, and the experience on building the skill set that you need, applying for jobs, what are the important things that you need to consider when you are interviewing for a job. What are the things that you need to also consider? What are the factors? And when you get job offers, how you want to make a decision, all those things that are very important, honestly. So about the decision between academy and industry, honestly, it's sometimes all this decision related to career paths is very related on where you are in your PhD. Are you in the beginning of your PhD? You just started, more very excited and energetic. You don't know what's gonna happen in the next few years, or are you somewhere in the middle, like still confused? You don't know what's gonna happen. Something at the end of the road, very low energy, tired, and you like sometimes like kind of losing hope and everything. So it depends where you are. For making decision between the academy and industry, uh, I personally, before starting my PhD, I knew what I want. I wanted to go to industry. However, I didn't know what kind of industry I wanted to go, what exactly position, what type of job I want to do. Still, honestly, it's still like I'm growing in my career. It's still like there are struggles. Like sometimes you're thinking about different aspect of work and everything. I don't think anyone knows fully 100% what exactly they want to know. And if someone knows, that's good for that person, that's great. But if you don't know, it's perfectly fine. You can figure it out somewhere along the way. But I would suggest try to kind of make that decision between the academy and the industry as soon as possible in your PhD, because you kind of that helps you to build your PhD, your dissertation, and everything, your planning during the PhD in a way to helps you to reach that goal, which is like the academic job or industry job. But if you don't, it's fine. Don't get any nervous or stress that, oh, I haven't made that decision, then that way you have to keep your options open. But for making such a decision, I had my own criteria to think about it, to choose between academic and industry. I would suggest just talk to the people from both sides, from different people, because just don't limit yourself to few people. Anyone that you can meet, just ask them what are the advantage in your job, what are the disadvantage, and you put these things together. For sure you have some criteria in your mind, you have some limitation maybe in your life going on, and put these things together and come up with the best option that you can have. So I would suggest to make that decision as soon as possible in your PhD. And about preparing your skill, what skill do I need to have? If you are in the beginning of your PhD or somewhere in middle, I strongly suggest to have a LinkedIn profile, updated profile, very well organized, very well prepared. And try to connect people to people through LinkedIn. This is a powerful platform for a job and career. It's best place to be. I had LinkedIn on my phone. I was checking it every day, and it was like I'm sure we all like checking our Facebook, maybe Instagram every day. Put that, have it also on LinkedIn. And because you see like people are sharing like their achievements or their updates in their careers, and you read about that, that gives you idea how is the career path is working for other people. It kind of give you some idea on how to prepare yourself for that. And another thing is that in LinkedIn, it's a lot of jobs there. I remember when I started my PhD, one of the guys that he was about to graduate, actually, he was in the job search and everything. He told me that even though it's your first year of PhD, just keep an eye on the job descriptions and look what type of skills they are looking for, and try to kind of get those skills. And I think that was the best advice that someone gave me about the career, because I was looking at the job description. Oh, I saw like, oh, a lot of jobs. I said, oh, it's good to have Python. If it's good to know Python programming. So at some point of my PhD, I had to, for like my dissertation, I had to kind of think about the programming language to help me on like solving the problems I was working on. And then I said, okay, if that's the case, I see like on job description, Python is very required. It's good option for me to go ahead and learn Python. I can use it for my dissertation, and I can learn something that it can be useful for me in future for the job market. So or like another option I would suggest is that to go to conferences. Conferences are the best place to meet people, to talk to people, to see what other people are doing and what other people are thinking, what are other new skills that are coming up that people are care about them. Ask your advisor to send you to conferences. Don't be shy about it. This is a big thing for you. And don't talk to people when you go to the conferences. Talk to everyone, anyone, to the professor, to the students like you, to the students that they are in the final years, to the people that are coming from the companies to hire people. Just ask them, like, especially like if you are, for example, interested in industry, like talk to the people that are there from the different company and looking for like a candidate or something. So you can ask them, oh, when you are searching for candidate, what you care about, like this kind of information gained from them. What skill do you think it's important? What are the skills that these days are people having, and the jobs, the industry cares about them the most. And also your friends. I got so many information from my friends. I was fortunate to have many friends in the same field doing their PhD. Like one of my friends talked about Groby. as a tool for optimization, and that's where I got to know about Groby, and I decided to use it for my dissertation. And I learned Groby, and it's very useful, and right now in my job I'm using it a lot. So these are the things you can learn from other people by talking to them. So be very proactive in these platforms and in these conferences, and use it in your advantage. For sure you can learn a lot. If you are in at the end of your PhD, starting your job search and everything, put your CV together. Look what you have, what are the strengths and what are your weaknesses, and try to, I would say, try to study a little bit. No matter if you have been prepared from the beginning of your PhD for this job search, I think you need to study at that point when you're starting your jobs and interviews, because so many things we know for sure very well, but when it comes closer to the job interview, we forget a lot of subjects, and it's good to review them and remembering them, even if it is at the level just reading Wikipedia about it, like an algorithm or anything. When I was doing my job search, I was like constantly on Wikipedia, and that was honestly, it was giving me good enough information for my interview. So don't think that you need to go crazy, but you need to review what you know actually. And another thing is that I've seen a lot of people at this point, even like few months before they graduate and they want to get a job, they find out, okay, they are lacking some skill sets. So they try to kind of take some online courses or something like that, study a bit more and acquire that skills. For example, you might find out, oh, I need to know SQL. A lot of these jobs required me to know SQL. What can I do? Like, I can take an online course, or I can just play with some data in SQL and write some query and learn something. So, and then add that to my CV. And that's very good, and that's very powerful. It's not, don't think it's impossible. Don't think when you are closer to the job search, you cannot learn anything new. No, you can learn always, and be open to learn and adding values to your CV. So let's suppose you're prepared your skills and you are ready to applying for the job. It's time for you to applying for a job. There are some points that you need to consider. I would say is that, first of all, have criteria, but be flexible. Like, we all have like, oh, I want this type of job. I want it to be in this specific location, or this type of cities, or this specific subject. This is good to have criteria, but don't limit yourself too much, especially at the beginning of your career, because you have to be open still. Like, you need to be open to any job. I remember when I started to job search, I had so many criteria, and I was limiting myself so much when I was searching, putting so many things filter, and at the end I had few options, and then I was, oh, there is no job, what can I do? And everyone say, oh, there is so many jobs. I was like, where are these jobs? I don't see it. And I realized, no, I put so much filter on the jobs. So I realized I should be a bit flexible, just let some of my criteria to be loose, and so I have more option, and then I can think about them, those criteria. There is some criteria, maybe it's very important for you, you can put them there. Some criteria, it's an option for you, it would be nice if you have them. So these are like, you have to kind of categorize your criteria that way. Another thing is that don't take everything so literally. So you go read the job description. For example, it's written, required like is master degree in, for example, industrial engineering, or I don't know, computer science, whatever. And I see a lot of PhD students, they don't apply for that job, and you ask them why. It says, oh, it's written master degree. I said, so that doesn't mean that if you are a PhD, you cannot apply for that. be open. Like if like there is a job, it's written something like that, don't be strict on that description. And sometimes also some people, we kind of tend to be a bit sometimes arrogant that we are PhD. It's nice to be a PhD, but don't think like it's bad if you apply for a job that is for master. It's required master or bachelor. I applied for some jobs, they were bachelors, and I was fine if they were giving me that job. If you like the job, if you like the company, just apply for it. If you like what type of the work they are doing, just apply for it. Don't think too much like, oh, this is master, I shouldn't apply or something like that. And sometimes also there is another thing. It's about the skill set that they write in the job descriptions. They write such a broad skill set that you think, oh, I have some of them, I don't have some others. And so I don't have like the experience on like machine learning and like this and that and that. So I shouldn't apply for this job. That's not true. You should apply, because sometimes the companies, they, for example, some specific team, they have a budget, they can hire a new person to help them in some project. They still don't have a good idea where and how they're going to use this new person. So they put a bunch of skill set on the job description. And if you think, oh, I don't have this type and that type, you're losing that opportunity. You apply, they might call you, and then you do interview, and that part of skills that you have in the job description, that might be enough for them. They say, oh, we can hire this guy, and this person can help us, for example, with the OR project that we have. He might doesn't know about machine learning that much, but that's fine. He can help us with the OR projects that we have. So don't and also look at it this way, that those skills that it's on the job description and you don't have them, those are opportunities for you to learn something new in that job. Think about it that way. Another thing is that ask people help for preparing your CV, no matter whom. Like I prepare my CV, I send it to my friends, anyone I met, or a stranger on LinkedIn. I was just telling them just what is your opinion, what should I change? They were giving me feedback, I was adjusting, and honestly, I improved my CV so much. I learned so much on how to write a good CV for like that type of job I was looking for, or like it's perfect. You need to get opinion for your CV. Don't be shy about it. Don't think, oh, this is my CV, like I don't want people to see it. No. Right now I'm on LinkedIn, like some people, strangers, they just send me their CV. They say, can you give us your opinion about this CV? I send them, and there is no judgment. I've done that before too. So ask people to help you on preparing your CV. For sure, everyone will help you. There is no judgment, for sure. As for referral, that is a big help for you to find a job. I got any interview I got, not any, but I can say 90% of the interview I got, it was through referral. And it doesn't matter that if you don't know a person in that company, that doesn't limit you. But you can connect to people. I always mention this about LinkedIn. What I was doing when I was looking for a job. So I was seeing this job in this specific company. I was going to the profile of that company, looking for the people in that same position that I was looking for it. I was checking their profiles. What are their past? Where did they study? What did they study? What are the experience they have? I gained some information about those people. And then I chose like a person, like one of those people that they have been in the same position, the same company, the same team that I was looking for. I messaged those people. I said, oh, I see that you're working in this position. I'm really interested in this position that your company is looking for applicant. I would love to know about your experience over a coffee or over a phone, or like, or even if you can answer my question in an email or something. If they were close, I went out with some people having coffee, discussing and getting to know about that company and that positions. And every time I reach out to any person on LinkedIn, they were absolutely open to do that. I never heard no from anyone. So don't be scared to do that. But don't like message people directly and say, oh, I want a referral for this position. Can you give me? It's just a bit, I don't know, awkward or weird. I don't know. Ask them that you want to learn about that positions and talk to them. Like I got this job I have. I found this job. I found a guy on this company in the same position. I called the guy. I asked him to share his experience. He gave me his number and I called him. He explained me about the project. Actually, it gave me a lot of information that I couldn't find that information about that company or that position by Google search. He gave me a lot of information about the project that they were doing, the type of work they are doing. And it actually made me excited to apply. And I told the guy, now that I hear all this information, I'm very excited to apply for the job. And can I ask you to refer me for the job? And the guy was like, yes, of course, just send me your CV. I'm gonna add it to the candidate. And I sent him my CV, and I was called to be interviewed. So this is how I got my job. So I'm sure a lot of people do that, and it works. Don't be afraid. People will answer you. And if someone didn't answer you, don't take it personally. It's just sometimes we are very busy. You might miss some messages, but that doesn't mean like people, they don't care or anything. So people are always open to help, even to a stranger. So message people, ask them about the position, about the company, and hopefully about the referral. Another piece of advice is that doing as much as possible, as much as opportunity you have to interview because even if I tell you go do this and that in the interview, it's nothing similar to you going into that process yourself. And no matter how good you are, when you start interviewing, in the beginning you do mistakes, you say things and you come back, oh wow, I wish I didn't say that, or I wish I said that, I wish I respond this way and that way. This is coming with experience. The more you do interview, the more you experience you are, the more you are prepared to answer questions in a better sentence, better structure, and faster, be like fast thinking in that moment. And so this is coming with experience. So as much as possible, if there is an opportunity, if you are not even looking for a job and someone approach you in LinkedIn and say, oh, we have this opportunity, do you want to interview? Say yes, go and interview. There is no harm. It's not like you're committed to go to that job if you say yes for the interview. It's a good experience, like you go to that practice. So my suggestion for you, especially if you are in the beginning of your PhD, to start doing interviewing. It doesn't matter if you fail. It's just a practice. So when you get to the end, you have done some interviewing already. You have some experience. I've seen this in my friends. I didn't do it myself at the beginning of my PhD, but some of my friends were doing this. I could see at the end when they were doing the job search how comfortable they were in compared to me. So that's the thing I think it's good to consider. Now, for example, you apply for a job, you get an interview. There are some things that you also good to consider. Is that when you go to an interview, just be yourself and be friendly. Don't. Sometimes we are lost so much on being, oh, I want to be professional. It's just you going. I've seen people sitting in an interview. It's like a robot. Just be comfortable, be easygoing, friendly. It's yes, you have to be professional, but not like strict sitting there and answering like in a specific way with a specific tone, with a specific face, very serious. No, because the guy that is interviewing you, he's not just interviewing you with your skills to do some specific job. He's thinking, I'm hiring a colleague. he or she is gonna be my colleague. I'm gonna sit next to this person every day. I don't want to sit next to a robot just not smiling at all, like not being friendly. Be relaxed, be friendly, be yourself, because they need you to like your personality, and if they don't, it's fine. For sure another company might find you interesting person to hire. So like when you start the interview, be friendly, ask the interviewer like, how was your day, where are you from, what are you doing. If they talk about their kids, ask about their kids. People likes to talk about their kids. They will be happy if someone asks them about their kids. Kind of make a connection to that person, so that interviewer feel like, oh, you are a human being, you're not a robot. I like to sit next to you every day and talk to you. So think about that aspect of the interview too. Be prepared for the agenda. If you don't know, like you're going into an interview, and if you don't know what's the template, what is the agenda in that interview, ask ahead. Like they invite you and say, okay, if they don't give you any information, which usually they give, sometimes some company they don't, ask them. There is no like, they won't tell you, oh, we cannot answer you, this is a surprise. No, they will tell you what is the agenda, and be prepared for that agenda, study for that. If it is like behavior interview, like go through some scenario of behavior question that they might ask you. Be prepared, make up some stories, not making up stories, like bringing up your past experience, like preparing them to some scenario that they might ask them, that question from you. Another thing is that let them know how you approach a problem. You go into interview, they give you a problem, which sometimes this is a problem that is going on in the company, maybe a small piece of that problem, and it's a problem that they might have been struggling with it for a few months to solve it, or they haven't solved it yet. And they don't expect you to solve it in few minutes. They just introduce the problem to you. So it's not there to find the right answer. It's just they want to know how you approach that problem. So just try to think out loud, be clear in your thoughts, make clear sentence so the other person understand you. And if you really sometimes don't know, just ask for a few seconds and think about it, and then give it answer or respond. So there is no rush. Be calm, be relaxed. When you go into interview, they're all trying to calm you down and not rushing you. They know that it's hard to go into interview. So you also be calm and just think about your sentence, make your thoughts known to them. Think about all this aspect of it. At the end of any interview, usually the interviewer asks you, do you have any question from us? The worst answer you can say is that, no, I don't have any question. This is horrible. You have to be prepared to have some question for them. And don't prepare some question just for sake of asking questions. You need to have some question you really care. For example, it is really important for you to know that what is the career path in this company. If I'm hired in this position, what is the next for me? How I can, like, from a data scientist become a senior data scientist, how I can become a manager, what are the criteria, how long it takes, what is the future for me in this company. Or you can ask, oh, what is the skills you really care for this position? Like, how do you evaluate the candidates you have? What is the interview process generally? What are the next steps on this position in just getting the interview process going ahead? All this very good question that you can get a lot of information and don't care. I remember in one of the interview, I asked so many questions. At some point I felt like bad. I said, I'm sorry, I'm asking so many questions, and we went farther than the time we were we had for the interview, and the guy said, don't worry, I like you asking me more questions. So we stayed 10 more minutes on that interview so the guy could answer my question. So ask as many questions you have. That's the perfect place for you to get your answers. For you, those of you that are international students, it is very important to check with the interviewer on the first interviews that if they are having visa sponsorship. If you need a visa sponsorship, don't waste your time going all those pain, like doing those exams, I don't know, preparation, case study, and at the end they don't give you visa. And also another thing, I see some people when they apply for a job, and some of the job description is written, sometimes they write, if they don't provide a sponsorship, they write, we don't provide a sponsorship, visa and sponsorship for this position. Take that serious. Don't think, oh, I'm gonna apply, they see my special talent, they make an exception and they give me a visa sponsorship. If they wrote there they don't give visa sponsorship, they won't give it, because there is a calculation behind that, there is a thought and there is a process behind that. So take those things not serious, and if it's not written, ask the interviewer on the first interview if they provide that, because you don't need to go through all these unnecessary things if they don't provide you a sponsorship, visa sponsorship. Now let's suppose hopefully you get multiple offers, and if you took just one, it's fine. I took one at that moment, it was perfect. And this is the time that you think about the criteria, secondary criteria you have, and put the offers you have next to each other, which one is which, and be ready to negotiate, like whatever it is, like you need more money, you need some other things, it is important for you, ask for them. But if you ask for something, if you negotiate with something, have an argument behind that. Like, don't go there and say, oh, I want more money, this is what you're offering me is not enough. I say, okay, why do you think we should give you more money? I don't know, I just want more money, I like more money. That's not a good argument. You have to provide a strong argument behind that. Or either you say, oh, I have another job offer, they give me more money, or if they like provide some data for this type of position, they give me this much money. It's the kind of a strong argument behind your request. Don't go just say, yeah, I want it, so give it to me. So no, but be ready to negotiate and don't be shy about it. Do your study. When they give you an offer, they give you time to think about it and go back with answer. So be prepared for that side also. I have one last advice. I think this is the most important thing. Anyone should pay attention to it more than any other thing, honestly. And this is just be positive. I know it is really hard, the whole process, job search and finding jobs, especially if you're an international student. I understand your pain. It is really hard. Everyone goes through it. At the end of the tunnel, it's always a light. So be positive. Don't lose hope. I know it's a lot of failure. You fail many interviews to get one job, and that one job is enough for you. All you need just one job. So just think about that. Don't be afraid to take risk, and don't lose your hope. And another thing I would say, I see a lot of PhD students, they think they are the only miserable person and the rest of the other people, they are very happy and everything goes well for them. Don't think that way. We all have problems, we have our struggles in different ways, and we are under pressure in different ways. If you think you are the only person going through that just put too extra pressure on you and make it harder for you. Everyone going through this, and it is hard, but honestly, this is something I always like to my friends when they talk about this process to me. I would say, at the end, one way or another, it will be fine. it's just for sure. It's always, we have been through many things in our life, and at the end, always been fine. It's just the idea of like being, holding up and just stay positive, be hopeful, don't lose your hope. I remember I graduated last year exactly in April 20. And the day I defended my dissertation, I didn't still have a job offer. And it was a time that like I was doing interview, it was like a month before that in March, and the pandemic happened. All the companies, they close up their interview. If I had a offer, they freeze that offer, hiring. So, and I had this fear of losing my visa here. There was some decision I had to make in that time, if I want to graduate, continue my plan and graduate, or if I have to delay my graduation. I went ahead with my plan and I graduate, and I stay hopeful that I can find a job. I remember the day I defended, like I was happy for 2 hours. After 2 hours, I was like sitting on the sofa, shaking my legs. I was so scared. But in the bottom of my heart, I knew it would be fine. And a week after, I got my job offer. And this job, I love it. I love the work I do. I love the people I work with them. And it is perfect. So a lot of bad things comes to your road, a lot of bad luck and things, but for sure there is something good staying at the end of the road for you. Don't be worried and just keep going. This is all I had, but I'm sure there is so many other things. I couldn't touch those in this presentation, but if you have questions, I would be happy to answer.
Thank you, Fatemeh. That was a nice presentation, and you covered almost everything. So it's time for the audience. If you have any question, please open up your mic and ask your question.
Hi, Fatemeh.
Hey.
Thanks for your nice presentation. And I mean, it was also surprising for me to know some of the details that you and the struggles that you went through. I knew some of them, but not all of them. And I'm happy that I was also very much happy of your last advice, because this is what I always admire in you. You were always smiling when during your PhD here and also during your job search. But apart from that, I have one question maybe that you can answer. During your slides, you were talking about asking for advice related to your CV and how you improve that. Can you give us a little bit of details of, for example, changes that you did to your CV after you obtained some feedback from people?
Well, one of the big points that I got, like I honestly didn't know about that. It was when I was preparing my CV. So there was a section in my CV, it's like work experience or research experience. Because I didn't have a work experience previously, it was just my research in university and internship I have done. And I've done some small things when I was in my country. But so I was saying, for example, I was a research assistant, University of Louisville, like this and this, we did this and this and this and this project. One good advice my friends, they told me is that you need to bold your skills that you use on doing those researches. For example, you gain a knowledge, for example, on travel salesman problem. You bold that, like we use travel salesman for doing this, and you bold Python and Groby because you use Python and Groby to solve this problem. We use this, and something else like, oh, we use such a big data with this size, or something showing the results kind of in a small sentence, like, oh, we we improved this system by 20%, something that shows what you put effort on it, what skills did you use, and what was the output, like how much you really improved. That numbers also matters. That was something I got advice from my friend. Also, that was like the top of your CV, put a little summary that shows your soft skills, like you have a contribution, communication skill, that because you work with multiple people during your PhD or something else, whatever is your soft skill. That was my case. Or the order of the section you put in, like you want to put your education on top, you want to put your work experience. So this was like the idea that a lot of people gave me, and it was really helpful. Like it was, and it was there was another decision between should I use 1-page CV or 2-page CV, and a lot of people said it is absolutely okay because a lot of people prefer 1 page, but I heard that for a PhD students, because they have done a lot more work, so absolutely okay to have 2 pages. It's actually recommended. So I went ahead with 2 pages. I provided 1 page also, but at the end I applied with 2 pages. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I take this opportunity also to thank you for accepting this invitation. It's always very nice to know about you and to meet you. So a personal thank you for being part of this.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm very happy to be here and be helpful anyway, because I've been through this. I hope I can be helpful for someone else. And as I said, it would be a good opportunity also for me to learn.
I'll let the others now to ask their questions.
Anyone else has questions? Okay, then I ask one question, which is, Dr. Parikh is there. Dr. Parikh, he's here to ask question.
Hey, thanks. Fatemeh, we have not met before, but I've heard wonderful things about you. So I guess all of those things were correct because your presentation, I'm sorry, I missed 15 minutes in the middle. I got a phone call, but it started well, and I heard the end part, and I think I would just say very honest. And so thanks for sharing that. I mean, this really helps. One of the things that I often tell my students who often like to go to industry is, I was in industry before, and I used to interview folks from Georgia Tech, and it was quite funny that those students will come in and they'll display the institution they came from rather than their confidence, their knowledge, or their comfort in managing the interview. And it was disappointing that we had to reject some of them and hire somebody who was not a Georgia Tech student. Well, one of the incident that reminds me was, which points to your point, emphasizes your point, which is be relaxed. Don't be a robot. And I think in everybody who goes for an interview, inside you must be bubbling with nervousness or energy or whatnot, but at least try to calm yourself down. If you do meditation or prayers, do that. Calm yourself down, because often they will pose a question, either it's a behavioral or a technical, which is meant to perturb you. And that is what they are looking at, that in a situation where if you are perturbed, can you maintain your calm and still answer? Do you agree with that? Was there any instance like that happened to you in a good or a bad way, either way, that you could share?
Well, I completely agree. I think it is very important. The more, if you are calm and relaxed, you also help yourself to take everything easier, and just your stress level goes down, and you make a good impression on the other people that you are like a human being, very normal, and sitting here, and people enjoy talking to you. I didn't have that like opportunity to get frustrated or anything. I usually, if I get frustrated or like confused, I smiled and just pass it. But I remember in one of the interview for this specific job, it was a case study. They gave me a case study, and I had to make the discussion, and they were just asking me question, and like at some point I was just tired of like, oh, just leave me alone for a second. And I was like, I started laughing, and then when the interview was over, I was like, oh my God, I should have not laughed. Like, what was that laugh? It was just not that I was nervous or stressed. I was like, oh my God, just leave me alone. Second, I was laughing. Then I was like, oh God, this was bad. But they apparently they liked it because they gave me the offer later, and I was thinking, okay, they like, that was my personality came out. That was my real me came out in that moment, that laughed at that situation. And they liked it. And I think I should, what I learned that moment is that I shouldn't be worried if a part of my personality that comes out that moment, because they need to see my personality to judge if they like it or not. They might be a person like I was lucky that those people, they liked my personality that moment. Maybe some other people, they wouldn't like my personality that I laughed in that situation. But that's a part of it. That's part of the whole process, that they need to like your personality too. So don't be afraid of like, but don't lose your temper, and just be calm and relax, and just generally it's good to not lose your temper in your life, not just the interview.
I totally agree. It's hard for me to convince international students because I was one day, and it's hard to for me to convince them that they are equally desperate to hire a good candidate. So although you are in some sense desperate for, visa issues or what have you, they are equally desperate. So let's keep it simple. Do they show their desperation? No. Then why are you showing your desperation? They're showing their calmness. You show your calmness, and let the vibes, the frequency automatically match. If it matches, the questions will come out in a way that you absolutely feel comfortable answering. Your personality they will make sure that you bring out your personality one way or the other. Good interviewers will do that. So there is nothing to hide. Just go and tell them who you are, how much you know, and be honest to them that if you don't know something, you have a PhD, you know the process of finding things out, and just convince them that way. You don't have to know everything, because PhD teaches us one thing, right? How narrow our knowledge base is. There's so much out there.
Yes, exactly.
Let's be honest about it. So no,
Yeah.
I think that skill is very important. I had a PhD student, just to give you a story to other people as well, who was 2 years older than me, and he lost out on 3 interviews. One was with all 3 big names, and he told me that his final interview was always with a C-suite or a VP, and they will ask him some questions, and he would start sweating. And he got nervous after the full day of a busy day. He got nervous at the end of the day, tired, nervous, and he will always lose out. And that was one of the things that I had to work with him and say, look, buddy, it's okay. In fact, in front of a VP, you go calm and be yourself, but don't be nervous thinking, oh, what if they feel like this and they'll not give me a job? That's the last thing you want to think about. Think about who you are and whether you like them, and let's hope they like me. That's it.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and also I think something else I add is that when you're going to interview, those people that they interview you, they are exactly the same people as you. At some point in some subject, you might have very much better knowledge than them. And some other subject, maybe they have better knowledge, and there is no such a thing who is better than the other person. Just be calm and just show your real person, your skill, what you have worked hard, so hard for it. Use that opportunity. Don't get nervous. Be calm. Just show it in that moment, and hopefully, if it meant to be you being in that job, it's gonna happen. If no, maybe that was the best. Maybe something better is waiting for you.
Well said. Maybe something better is waiting for you. I think that is a very important statement. Thank you, Fatemeh. I don't have any other thoughts. I just enjoyed the portion I heard, and great discussion. I hope our students appreciate and stay in touch with you for advice in the future.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Any other question? Then I have one question for Father.
Yes, sure.
So I think that it is about like in this job search process. So what do you think our department, our professor, department chair, or our advisor how they should help us to ease this process? What is your opinion or experience about it?
I see like some other universities, like this is something I got from other universities. My friends, they were in those universities. Like some companies are connected to the university. They send out the position, they have the job opportunity, so they try to keep the connection to the universities so they can hire a student from them. And when those job opportunity coming out, they were sending to the university. University was like, okay, sending it out to the students. They know that they are looking for job and kind of helping them, introducing them to the job opportunity. I think if that's something happen in Louisville, to bring out more opportunity for students, especially those that they are closer to the finishing and they are desperately looking for a job. If they bring them some more opportunity, connect them to the industries as any way possible, and support them, sending them to the conferences. The conferences is the best thing for us, for especially a PhD student to get connected. There is a lot of career fair going on in different conferences. And there are, for people that also they are looking for academic jobs, some other conference, I'm not sure which one, but I know that my other friends that they were looking for academic job, they were going some specific conferences to get to know about those careers in academic. Those are very good things that department and a school can provide for students, I think.
Thank you, Fatima. That was nice. That was really helpful.
Okay.
So, is there any other question from the audience? Our audience looks like they're shy. Or maybe Fatima answered all the questions they have. That could be the case as well. So I add one more question. So
Sure.
So for example, for the job interviews, when you were preparing for the interviews, like what kind of like you said you went to Wikipedia. So instead of Wikipedia, like what do you recommend? That what should we prepare? For example, OR or simulation. What should we study and prepare for?
So I said Wikipedia. I use that a lot, but that was not my only resource. That was just like, for example, you go to your bed, you have your phone, like you can like look into your phone while you're like reading the Wikipedia, a lot of information getting. But I had some books also. You don't need to go like books. Usually it's a lot of pages. You don't need to go through from the beginning to the end. But some subjects, like you can pick on the books and like read them, those that are interest to you and you think it is important. And I would say like on the terms of, for example, I was looking some OR problems. For example, I had to review about travel salesman, or I don't know, vehicle routing problem. Like vehicle routing problem, I had to study a lot because I was seeing a lot of jobs. I was applying for those jobs that they were very focused on this. So I had to go read a bit some of the books, or some other universities, they put their slides for the courses on the, for example, in MIT or those things. You Google search, there is a lot of material out there. I was reading those, what are like the algorithm to solve a vehicle routing problem, or a travel salesman problem, or I don't know, assignment problem, whatever it is. And there is another skill set which is like more programming and everything like that, which you can go like taking an online course, or like I never finished any online course to the end. I got as much as the information I needed, and I was like, okay, I'm done, good enough here. But it would be perfect if you finish it and get a like certificate on it. But yeah, it just depends on what type of thing. But there is a lot of resources out there, and sometimes even like the courses in the university you have, like those are good. Like the notes you had during the courses during your PhD, those are good enough also sometimes to review them.
Thank you, Fatemeh. We have two questions. I think first we start with Zavi.
Hey Fatemeh, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for great explanation of everything. I have two questions. One of them is about when to start searching for a job. Like how long before graduation do you think that we start searching?
Well, I would suggest, one of my suggestions in the presentation was to do interview as soon as you can, like the sooner
Seriously, I mean.
For serious, I would say uh, applying and doing the job, I would say 6-7 months before that. But when you are 6-7 months away from your graduation, a lot of companies, they don't take you that serious. They want someone right away. That's something I face a lot. But it's something that I think you need to start 6-7 months before that, because it kind of give you a warm up to get closer to the when you get closer to your graduation, you are feeling more prepared. And sometimes a lot of companies also, they accept that. Like even I heard my friends, for example, he got the offer in January, he joined in August. So it's like it's not that like if you are that far away, but I would suggest 6-7 months before for sure you have to start.
Thank you. And the other question is about the CV. So you mentioned that for every project, we should write some sentences mentioning like I use TSP, blah, blah. So it's gonna just make it very long. So if it goes more than 2 pages, what should you do?
No, you can keep it in 2 page, and you have to think a lot. That's a hard part, I understand, to how to make the sentence. I was writing every sentence in one line to make the message clear, like because you don't want to be very technical and like going so much detail explaining. Just one line: for such a problem I use this thing, for such a problem and use this thing. So you have to keep it in one line. There is a
for
lot
each
of
project, one line?
Not multiple line. I kept it in multiple line, but in one line I give one specific message. So you have to be work a lot on that to make it very short. And it is possible. So I've done it. A lot of people done it. So it takes it took me, I think, a month, like reviewing, changing. I don't know if you're looking into my, I wrote it in the latex. If you look at my share latex, you don't know how many version I have. Like every time I was changing it. Yeah. And also I have to add something else about when you start applying for job applying. If I say 6-7 months, is that the 6-7 months before that is when you start applying. And mostly this is my suggestion to international students. If you don't have that visa problem, it's okay if you apply later, because as a international student, there is some restriction, so you have to make sure to have job on time. But before that 6-7 months, I would say the last year of your PhD, you have to be on top of the game, like reading, studying, preparing, like connecting to people. So that's something else.
I see. Thank you.
We are almost hit the time, but we have one more question. Fatemeh,
yes.
Do you have time? Okay.
Yes.
Morshed, please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Fatemeh. This is Morshed.
Hi.
Thanks for the nice presentation. It's a lot of helpful and a lot of information you provided. I just want to know about, because I heard that the internship helped a lot to get the job, and even in the interview they heard a lot. So if we want to, I have two questions regarding this. If we want to do the internship, what is there any preferable time? Like a lot of people says, okay, do your internship at your almost end of the PhD or your fourth year or something like this. Some people says, okay, do it whenever you will get it. That's one of the question. And another question is the job preparation, interview for the job preparation and the interview for the internship is the similar kind of things or any differences?
So for the internship, honestly, I didn't get an internship into industry. I was in a university. I was more like research. It was very similar to like a PhD research assistant. But I know that it is very, if you like specific industry, it would be great if you get an internship into a similar industry. And there is no limitation that you can go just one internship. You can go two summer, you go on internship. I would suggest before going internship, it's just for making sake of being safe on your PhD, puts like your research on a more stable situation and then go on a internship. But I see a lot of people, they go on the second summer and the third summer of their PhD if they want to finish in 4 years. But it depends, like starting early or late on your internship, it kind of depends also how you are doing in your PhD and your dissertation. If you make that solid and stable a bit, you don't need necessarily, I think, to defend your proposal, but you feel a bit comfortable because you have to live for a few months and not touching your research at all. So that would be good to consider.
Great, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, Fatemeh. Thank you, Moshe. So I think we are almost end of our presentation. And Fatemeh, thank you very much for your time. And we really enjoyed, and it was so informative. And for everyone's help, we have recorded this session and we'll share on the YouTube and we'll share with our department as whoever wants to get benefit out of it. So Fatemeh, once again, thank you very much. And we really learned a lot from this session.
It was very enjoyable for me too, and also it was very nice to seeing the people again. It's always good opportunity, this kind of seminars, to meet the people.
Thanks, Fatemeh.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
Thank
Dr. Gentili.
you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye everyone. Bye.